Well, students, we're going to do some painting today. I think it should be really fun. It's important to follow directions so that we can do every step to create this paper for our caterpillars. So we're going to do this part on the carpet together, but we're going to fold this paper. We're going to kind of have it go in the tall way. It's important that we're going to line it up, and we'll make it nice and straight. Once it looks like it's straight, then I would like you to crease it. Then you're going to hold it up and show me that we've got that much done. We're going to bring it up here, make that part straight, line that up, crease it. Then you can hold it up and show me, and then we'll turn it this way. We'll line this end up, and a good trick is that it's like kind of it's hard to fold it. So if you put it here and then you stick your finger inside and you pull on it, it'll help get that fold started. You can pull on it on that side too, and then crease it. Once you have this, I'll give you permission to go to your table. You'll hold it up and show me. We'll open it up when you get to your spot, and before you do anything, get your name on it. So we don't want wet paint without a name on it, so please put your name on it, and then we can flip it over. You will not get a paintbrush until I see this step is done. Where these folds are, you're going to trace them with your pencil. So I trace that center one, and then I'm going to trace this one, and the middle one, and this one on the right. When you have that done, you should just hold it up and show me that you have your lines done and you have your name on the back. Then I will give you a paintbrush. You can see that there's a paper that's behind this, and the reason is so that I don't get paint all over my hands and so that I don't get paint all over my table. So I'm going to give you a paintbrush. First step, I might even be passing these out as you're doing this first step. Just taking some of the water from this water container and brushing it onto your paper. Now we do not want to be splashing it or banging it. Just dip it in, wipe it off a little bit, and let's get some water on here. Now this brush, usually I say make sure your brush doesn't make a sound. This brush has long bristles, and it does make a sound if you listen to it. But you do not want to be scrubbing it on the paper. It could make a loud scratchy sound, and it could put a hole in your paper. So now that I have some water on it, the very first color to start with is white. So I'm going to take my white and I'm going to brush it on here. And I'm going to brush it on every single box. So I brush this out, and if you get some white on the background paper, that's okay, that's what it's for. Continue to get a little bit more white and brush it on. Now, if I see that your paper is starting to dry, I might just take this spray bottle, I have a bottle that just has water in it, and I might just put a little bit of water on it because the last step won't work if your paper is dry. So you can always get a little more water and brush that on. Now when I do my next color, I'm going to rinse off my brush a little bit, wipe it off, and then I'm going to do my yellow. And I'm going to do yellow on every box too. My yellow is starting to mix a little bit with my white. I'm trying to just hold it right down here where there isn't any paint so my fingers don't get paint on them. And I'm going to brush out all the yellow. Now the last step is going to be to use some blue. Usually once you use the blue, I don't want you to use the white and the yellow again because it's hard to wash all of the blue off your brush. So here I'm going to add, and we don't want that all mixing up for other classes that we'll be using it. So just using my yellow, brushing that on. Now the last step is going to be to rinse off my brush, and I'm going to dip it to the bottom. I'm going to rinse it out, wipe it off, kind of look at it, make sure it's clean. If it's not, wash it again, or maybe even a third time. Now when I do this blue, I can brush this out. I'm gonna just kind of space it out, put a little bit on every box, and then I'm gonna brush this out. Now, once I have it on every box, if you do want a box to be a darker green, because one of the reasons we're doing this is to do color mixing. So here, yellow and blue make green, and if you want it to be a darker green, you just add a little bit more blue. So maybe this box I'm gonna do a little bit more blue, so it's a darker green. And I'll do a few like that. Okay. Now, something else that I think is fun before we do the very last thing is if you do want to give a few designs to these with your bigger brush, you may. So like if you do want to do like a little swirly design, or if you want to do some broken lines, or you want to do like some dots, you can do just a little bit of design and texture to it. Maybe just something simple with straight lines, or maybe just some zigzag lines. Now when you're done with this brush, then we're going to put this brush in the water, and I'm going to give you this tool. It's called a shaper tool. It's a cool tool to be able to put more designs in it. It only works if the paper is wet. That's why I said I might spray your paper a little bit. But this can do like some cool designs. It takes the paint off. It's pretty fun. But it only works. Oh, I totally forgot something. Really important. Trace these lines again with your shaper tool. Because for some reason I've had students who use this shaper tool and they just scribble all over the whole thing. If you trace these lines, then you can see them. And then in each box, I'm gonna do something different. I'm not gonna make every single one of these boxes the same. So I've got broken lines in that first one. Now I'm doing some zigzag lines here. This one, I'm gonna do some circles around the dots that I already made. So every box should get something new. That's why I traced the lines that I drew with pencil. This one might get just some simple straight line. You're welcome to use the lines from the board to come up with ideas. Maybe this one's gonna get some wavy line. I'm going a lot faster than I want you to go. Take your time. Come up with some fun, different ideas. And I'll show you one other thing at the very end here. I haven't done any loops like this. If for some reason you make a big mistake, you can usually change it. So here, you'd have to dry off your brush, but if I made like a big mistake, like say, for example, I made this one and it looked kind of sloppy or something like that, if you needed to, you could use your brush and paint over it. Most of us won't need to do that. But if that happened, then you can just paint over it and then do a new, better example. Okay, so take your time, show your best. We're gonna turn this beautiful paper we've painted, we'll cut it out and turn it into our caterpillars for next time. So at the end, you can just, there'll probably be a clean spot. Try not to put this in the paint. If needed, you could put it next to it. Your brushes can go in the water. These shaper tools can just go in a clean spot or next to it. And then I am gonna have you carry your paper over like this. And you can bring it over to me, and you can see I'm holding it so my hands are not on the wet paint. That's also why it's on here. You'll bring that over to me. I might give you some other directions for what I need you to put away, or I might just say wipe off your hands and wipe off your spot. So let's have fun making these paintings today.